Here we go at 11:08 on this Wednesday. It is the 13th of October. Welcome to Central Valley Talk Live. Thanks for being here. I'm Austin Reed, coming to you from our Tower District studios inside the Mike Briggs building. This was a picture earlier this morning in Fresno, right at downtown near the Pacific Southwest building. Another gorgeous day across the Central Valley. Highs today right around the mid-70s. Hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Austin Reed on Air. Our first guest today, joining us live in our Mike Briggs studios, is Herb Keener, and he has a brand new book just released called Decision to Die, Strength to Love. Herb, welcome.
It's all good, man. It's just a good day.
It's a good day. Weather's nice.
Yes.
Can't complain.
Right.
So tell us, I was reading just a little bit, basically just your foreword here. Tell me about this book. Well,
it's actually built out of decisions that I made in life, decisions out of greed, and these were the repercussions of it. This was the finality. Because of greed, I was looking to join the wrong type of group. I got connected up with a syndicated drug delivery type thing. We go from Mexico to Chattanooga, and they needed a new runner, and here I am, so I signed up to it. And the first person I meet is the guy that's been undercover agent for 3 years into the syndicate, and him and I set the program up. I had no idea who he was. I know who he said he was, but anyway, they took about a year to test me, see if I'd steal their product, see if I'd lied to them. A number of things they'd done that created their trust in me. And so finally, one day they call up, in 1984. It was the New Year's Eve, and that was the beginning of me working with them. And I made 3 trips back east, and the third one was the final when the TBI agents, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, decided they were going to take down the organization. And I was part of that. Decision to die start is when I realized I'm in something I couldn't get out of either way. I'm either going to die at their hands or I'm going to jail at the police's hand. So I made a decision to die. I was going to take my life. And I was standing on a highway in Sweetwater, Tennessee, when I made that decision. Wrote 5 suicide notes to my family, put them in my leather jacket, put it on the side of the road, and commenced to jump in front of a diesel. And as I crouched to jump into it, the first time I just said, wow, this is going to hurt. So I didn't do it. So I took myself off to the side of the road, and I just had a little talk. I said, hey, you can't even die right. Here you are. You don't know what's going on. See, I thought back about my life, and I said, I don't even know my daughter. I know she graduated, but I didn't know whether or not she went to the prom or not. Didn't know anything about her. Didn't know her favorite color. Didn't know anything about my 2 sons. And I just said, okay, you were worthless on this world. And you're fixing to do 40 years in prison, so the opposite is get out.
Yeah.
And then I said, okay. I used the analogy of going to a tooth doctor. Is when you have a toothache, it really hurts bad, and the minute they pull that out, there's a release, and you feel good. So I said, that's exactly what's going to happen here. So I crouched down to make that lunge, and this voice, not inside, from outside. Now, I was not even a believer in God, to be honest with you. And this voice said, now that you've decided to die, you'll have the strength to live. And I got a peace all about me. So I said, well, I guess I'll go to prison with a peace. And I picked up my suicide notes and jacket, and it was a nice sunny day, and it was March 15th of 1984. And I started walking back to my motel room because that's where it all ended. And the rest of it in the book tells how I did all that, and went back to my room, and they didn't arrest me. So I continued to try to get away, get back to Stockton, California, where I was from. And the ending was that the people that run the syndicate, I gave them more credit than what they had, because they communicated with each other, and they decided I was stealing their marijuana. It was $90,000 worth of marijuana in my truck. And so they decided I was going to steal that. So they got a van, pulled up to my truck, took all the pot out and put it in their van. Well, naturally to say, the minute they pulled away from it, they picked them up. And so from what I surmised after it was all over was, if they kept me, they had to turn them loose. So they decided to let me run. And it's all in the book. That's the gist of it right there.
Wow.
I was an idiot well, I still am a little bit, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My whole life was driven with bad decisions. And then when I run upon this, I said, this is a great opportunity. And our plan was this, to be bringing in up to 3,000 pounds a week into Chattanooga, Tennessee. Think about that. How many children would I have harmed doing that?
Yeah.
See, and you don't think about that. I'm, 43 years old, looking for all I could get out of life. But my decisions put me in a position of life and death. And that's basically kind of it. If you got any questions, I'll gladly answer them.
What was it like writing this? Was it healing?
It wasn't bad, but I made a decision one time not to do it after 10 years. It took me about 15 years to finally, you know how you say, well, tomorrow I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to write it next week. And I'm telling everybody, yeah. I got a book coming out. And I hadn't even put the first word down yet. So pretty soon I told everybody I was going to write a book. And I said, well, maybe I better, And everybody thought it was a story that needed to be told, especially for youngsters to know there's consequences to your actions. And I found out the hard way. So anyway, as I was writing it, I had about 12 different rewrites. And the last transcripts my publisher sent me, I looked at it and I said, you know what? I can't do this. I'm not going to do this. So I told my wife, Shirley, I said, hey, I'm not going to do this. And she said, well, why, And I said, I don't know. So I decided to take a day and go to the ocean. I love Bodega Bay. And so I took my dog and took the transcript, and page by page, I read that. It took a little over about 3 hours or so. Then when I got to the back of it, I said, this needs to be told. Because I read it like it was for somebody else. Mm-hmm. And in all the years of accumulating and thinking, and the key thing is, every word in that book is true. No matter how crazy it might sound, it's true. I climbed up a tree while he was chasing me, and I heard these dogs barking. I said, yeah, this is where I belong, in a tree. So I got down out of that. I crawled through a swamp and lost my glasses. Next day, went back and found them. I wore glasses at that time. But anyway, things like that, only by the grace of God did I even make it out of there, because I definitely didn't have anything coming. I was getting what I created in myself. So that's it.
Book is out now. People can read it and buy it on, I would imagine,
HerbKeener.com.
Okay, HerbKeener.com. There is the website at the bottom of your screen. And then you've got a new show. We've only got about a minute left, but I wanted to talk about this. You've got a new show here at Central Valley Talk. It's starting in November.
November 3rd.
Right, November 3rd. And it's going to be called, what, the Senior Hour?
Well, I guess that's what it is. I'm just going to talk about the people that's whining about being old. Quit whining about being old. Let's get on alive,
And
live
living,
the rest of life.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm 81 years old. This all happened.
Oh, wow. I thought you were in your, I don't know, late 60s, early 70s.
And anyway, this happened when I was 43 years old. Okay. And I've been blessed. I ended up being a pastor. I pastored for 5.5 years. I'm still a minister. And looking to go to churches and speak about this.
Right. Well, it's a fascinating story. Thank you for joining us.
You bet.
And we'll see you in November.
Yes.
Every Wednesday at 2 p.m., right?
Every Wednesday at 2 p.m.
Live at centralvalleytalk.com. Herb, good to meet you.
God bless you, man.
God bless you. Thank you. I'm Austin Reed. You're watching Central Valley Talk. It's Wednesday. We'll be right back.